Alright, I'm back working on the Mustang today. Today we're going to put some body filler on this door skin on the driver's side door that we replaced. But the first thing I want to do is grind off this E-coat, this black coating that is on these replacement door skins when you buy them. I want to give the filler a better chance to stick, so I'm going to grind this stuff off. It's also going to scratch up the steel on the door skin a little bit to give the body filler some little grooves and things to stick onto. So all I'm going to do is take this, I got my angle grinder with a little abrasive wheel that it's a paint stripping wheel, so it's not going to actually remove any metal. It's just going to remove this coating on here, which is, it's like a paint, and it works pretty good. It comes off really fast. I'm just going to remove it in the areas where I'm going to apply the filler, and I'm not going to remove it on the entire door skin itself. So I just need to get on my dust mask and my ear protection, and I'll fire up the grinder here and we'll just take off this E-coat where we're going to put the filler on. So here's the finished product. I've stripped off this E-coating just in the areas where I know I want to apply the body filler. And try to get it in here so you can get a little view. Put some little scratches in the metal. Nothing really deep or anything, but you can sort of see here where it laps over onto the E-coat and then comes back. There's just some little fine scratches, and that'll give the filler something to bite into and to stick better. Okay, the first step is to just wipe off the surface with a dry rag. Get the dust off. I can see there's a lot of dust. Okay. Now I'm going to take some wax and grease remover and just wipe down these bare metal areas. That wax and grease remover evaporates pretty quickly, so you don't have to worry about letting it dry before you do anything. And it does have sort of a bad odor, so you should work outside in fresh air, or if you have to work in a garage or something, you ought to wear a vapor mask, a respirator with with an organic vapors filter on it, which I have over here when I work with the filler. Alright, so now that's done. Let's get ready for the filler. Now I'm going to mix up the filler, and I use this stuff, Evercoat Rage Gold lightweight filler. You can buy this at places that sell auto body paint and filler and those kinds of places. So there's a store around here that carries it, and it's about, this is like 1 gallon, it's actually 8/10 of a gallon in this can. And it's about, I don't know, 60 bucks, 55, 60 bucks, something like that. And when you get it, make sure you also need to get this hardener that comes in a separate tube. It's a 2-part system. It's like all fillers, I guess. And you want to mix it on something non-porous, so I just use a flat piece of sheet metal that I use that paint stripper wheel once the filler is dry on here, just to grind off so I can keep reusing it. And you do both sides of it, so in one day You can mix up on two sides if you need to do two different applications. So let's get some filler mixed up onto the piece of sheet metal. We'll put the hardener in it, mix it up, and then get it on the door. Right now, I know you really can't see me, but I wanted to get the camera set up so you can actually see what I'm doing. But anyway, I'm just taking a stick and I'm mixing up the filler that's in the can right now. There's really just one consistency in here. That's what you want. And it doesn't really separate too much. There's another product that you put on after the filler. Let's call it a glaze, and that stuff will separate in the can if you let it sit for a long time. But so far I haven't had any trouble with the filler separating, but I do like to mix it up anyway before I use it. You stir it up here in the can, and this is how I actually get it out. This is a paint stirring stick that I use only for mixing up the filler. You stir it up. Get these little plastic spreaders. They're flexible. Throw them away every time you're finished, because there's no way to clean it off easily. Now what I'm going to do is get a glob of this on this stick, and you can see it's kind of like, I don't know, sort of cake icing consistency, maybe a little more runnier than that. I don't ice many cakes. And the stuff smells really bad. I'm always complaining about the wind around here, but it's sort of nice that it's breezy today because I have this can downwind and I don't really smell it. But over the winter when I do this in the basement, I have to wear a mask with a vapor filter on it. Alright, so that's that. Cover this back up. Keep any dirt and stuff from getting in there, keep it from drying out. Now this is the real trick. This next part, you want to put this hardener on. Right now, this stuff is, it's got that sort of runny consistency, and you can't do anything with it. It'll never dry if you leave it like this. It'll dry out a little bit, but it won't get hard that you can sand it and then have it do what you really want it to do. You have to add this other catalyst to it, this hardener, and you have to, the trick is to know how much hardener to put on. I always say, there's all kind of crazy little guidelines, but I usually just do like one little line, maybe 3/4 of the way across. That's it, that's plenty. The more of this hardener you put in here, the faster this stuff is going to set up and dry, and the less time you're going to have to work with it. So I'm going to mix this up really quick and then put it on the door. It might go off camera, but that's the way it's got to be right now. So let me mix this up. And the key to mixing it up here is to just keep smearing it around. You don't really want to get a lot of air bubbles in it, because the air bubbles eventually will work their way out into your finished surface. So right now you can see it was yellow when we started, and you add this blue hardener, and when you get it all mixed in there, it's going to turn a green color. Because yellow and blue make green. So you just keep wiping it around, moving it around. Okay, that's mixed up. Now I want to put it on the door. Now I just noticed that the camera cut out in the middle of me doing this, so hopefully I got enough video of the filler application. Now it's done. I'm not going to go back and try and fiddle with it anymore. So now we just have to let this dry, and then we can start sanding it off for the first time. Maybe I got to put a little bit more on, I don't know. But you have to let it dry. I usually let it dry, for at least a day or two, but since I mostly do this on the weekends, it usually winds up drying for, at least a week. around here. But if you read the can, it dries a lot quicker than that. You know, sometimes you can even start standing on this stuff within an hour. All right, I'll show you something else. If you've never worked with filler before, it dries. You can see I got it on here. It dries really quickly. I mix this stuff up, whoops, and put it on here in, it's a bit less than 5 minutes. And you can see this is already useless. You can't spread it now. It's in this crumbly stage. It's a little sticky. Feels a little warm. You don't want to get that on your skin too much. But you don't have a lot of time to work with it, so make sure everything is ready to go before you mix it up, because once you mix it, like I said, you got less than 5 minutes to get it on the door or whatever it is that you're spreading it on. Because it dries kind of quick, you don't want to go back and spread it on and then keep wiping it, keep rubbing it, keep fooling with it, because you'll wind up, you know, putting a scratch or something in it that you just have to come back again and fill the next time. So I can see I got some rough spots in here, but I'm not going to fiddle with those right now. I'm just going to let it dry. It's a lot easier to let it dry and sand off the high spot than it is for me now to come back and try and get rid of this and wind up putting a groove in it that I have to fill up again later. So I'm going to actually put this door out in the sun for a little while. The heat will help it cure quicker and get it dried.